right, everybody, Yankee here, and yesterday I asked everyone to send in pictures of the gun that they carry with them every day. So let's get started here with part one of viewer carry guns. All right, first we have SquizGar, I guess that's the name, and they are from Kentucky. I can believe that's a name in Kentucky because, you know, I can almost smell the meth on this picture right now. That's probably not his real name. That's just as much of it as he remembers how to spell after all the brain damage. And he carries a Ruger LCP and Smith & Wesson Shield Performance Center. Nice choice of guns there. I'm assuming the Shield's his primary and the LCP is his backup. Next, we have Corey, and Corey is, of course, from Florida. It seems like every person I ever meet named Corey is either from California or Florida. And if they're from California, they're some sort of brain-dead surfer. And if they're from Florida, they're 22, live in a trailer park, and have 4 different baby mamas already. But Corey is carrying a Canik METE MC9. And I don't know what METE even stands for. I'm assuming it's something very important, or they wouldn't put it on the gun. I've always liked these Caniks in the two-tone with the little red trigger dongle. And he's got his Hollow Sun red dot on there. So if there's any trouble at the trailer park, Corey will be ready. All right, next we have Kevin, and he is from Ohio. And being a West Virginian, that means he is my natural enemy. But he's carrying a CZ75P01. And why are Ohioans our natural enemy? I have no idea. I don't ask questions. I was just born there. I just follow the rules. But that's Kevin's carry gun, his CZ75P01. All right, next we have Froman5584. I doubt that's his real name, but he is from California, and he carries a Glock 26. Now, one thing I do know about Froman is he's a bit of a jerk, because he sent this picture to me in portrait mode and said, if you just turn it on its side, it's landscape. You know, like 1, I want to do your work, and 2, like I'm going to take that snarky attitude. You come at me like that, I'll scratch your eyes out, bitch. So watch yourself. But this is Froman5584 from California's Glock 26. All right, next we have Dale Rickety and his Smith & Wesson Model 60. I believe this is the Pro model. 5 shots of 357 Magnum with that nice slab side barrel. Really nice choice. And he even included a picture of himself, a little baby Dale Rickety here. But this is suspect, this picture. I don't know if this is actually him, because we know Dale Rickety is older than dirt. For one, I think there might just be too many stars on that flag to be period correct. And the picture's in color, which makes it very unlikely that it's actually Dale Rickety at that age. But we'll take his word for it and show his little Model 60 Pro here. All right, next we got Afghan Vet 357, or Timmy, as I like to call him. And he is from Florida. And he carries a Kimber Micro 9. Which makes me wonder why he's Afghan Vet 357 if he doesn't carry a 357. That seems like false advertising to me. Seems like his name should be something more like Afghan Vet, Pink Satin Panties, or something like that. Something that's more appropriate for a Kimber Micro 9. Now, don't get me wrong, it's a good gun, but it ain't no 357, so like I said, he needs to change that screen name. All right, next we have Richard Lopez from Florida, and he's carrying a Taurus GX4 Toro. Now, these are notoriously underrated guns, and I even gave one of these away for TYMP once. It looks like he's got his done up here with an extended compensated barrel. He's got a red dot from Hollow Sun on there, and it looks like he's also got a laser on the front of it. So, 2 things we can tell about Richard Lopez. 1, he's ready to go. He's got that gun ready to rock. And 2, his kisses probably taste like tacos. My kisses taste like tacos. All right, next we got Justin Oatey. He is from Texas, and he's going old school with his Smith & Wesson 681. This is an older model Smith & Wesson. It's got the gunner type sight instead of having a rear sight. It's more set up for carry than some of the other guns. And it looks like he's bobbed to the hammer on it, which is probably not the only hammer that looks bobbed on Justin, if you know what I mean, since he is from Texas. But that makes this a great snag-free carry gun, as he says, and he really likes this gun. It's a classic, his Smith & Wesson 681. All right, next we have Mike from Massachusetts, and he is carrying an HKVP9LE. He said it is the law enforcement edition, and I'm not sure what that actually means. I guess it means that the gun has anger issues and is a little bit racist. But he's got his all decked out here with his Viridian front light and laser combo, it looks like there. And I love the two-tone look on these, and the HK guns are good. The VP9 is not my favorite HK, but, you know, if you're going to carry a polymer gun, you can't go wrong with an HK, and that's why Mike is carrying his VP9 LE. All right, next we got Neil Gunn from Alabama. Alabama, Daddy, R. And he's carrying a CZ Shadow 2 Compact, which seems a little odd to me that someone from Alabama is carrying a CZ Shadow 2 Compact. Their entire state budget is less than the MSRP on a CZ Shadow 2 Compact, so I'm assuming that Neil is into some illicit activities to be able to afford such a gun, or he bought it when he lived somewhere else and then moved to Alabama. But that aside, this is a great carry gun. I would love to own one of these myself, but I don't have one yet, which means I don't like Neil. Next, we got Matt from Georgia, and he's carrying a Smith & Wesson 60 Ladysmith and a 627 Pro. Now that 627 Pro, that's an awesome gun. Love that gun. I have that same gun. 8 rounds of 357 Magnum. How can you go wrong with that? Now the Ladysmith, that's a little questionable, but he is from Georgia. I've always found manhood in Georgia to be a little different. I think it might be all the peaches they eat, or maybe it's all the sweet tea and string ties, but it's an acceptable choice because the Ladysmith does come with some nice features. And if you ignore that fact that it says Ladysmith on the side of it, it's just a really nice version of the Smith & Wesson Model 60. So this is Matt from Georgia and his, let's say, gender neutral carry choices. All right, next we have McD Doherty from Illinois. And this is actually a TYM Triple P gun. He was a recipient of TYM Triple P, and since he lives in Illinois, he got the Smith & Wesson M&P 9C. That's not our usual TYM Triple P gun, but sometimes when we can't send the one we usually send, that's one we'll look into, and I think he really wanted this gun, so we ended up sending this gun. It's nice to see one of the TYM Triple P guns out there in the wild, so I'm not even going to say anything bad about McD Doherty. I'm just going to be glad that I got to see, like I said, one of the TYM Triple P guns out there in use. All right, next we have JoeB from Washington State, the state that I currently reside in. And he's got his ZEV Z365 XL. And I'm assuming that is just a Gucci SIG 365. And I'm not judging. I like the Gucci guns myself. I mean, we all want to feel a little fancy sometimes. And it looks like JoeB wants to feel fancy with his two-tone special Gucci SIG P365 right here. It's a nice looking gun. He's got it done out there with an extended magazine. It looks like it's cut for a red dot. Got the flat face trigger. Looks like a very capable gun. So can't say much bad about the gun here at all. All right, next we have Macmillian. I don't think that's his real name. That's probably a stripper name or something like that. And he is from West Virginia, and he's carrying an HK USP, which is not surprising because people from West Virginia have exceptional taste, and that is an exceptionally good polymer gun. If you're going to carry a polymer gun, but you want as little of the stigma as possible for carrying a plastic gun, H&K is the way to go. And I'm not surprised that Macmillian here from West Virginia chose an H&K USP. Because like I said, people from West Virginia have good taste. And in addition, since he's from West Virginia, I'm also going to assume that he's pretty and well endowed. All right, next we have Albert Trunk from New Jersey. And that's one of those things I'm always sad to hear, that someone is from New Jersey. But it is nice to see that he's carrying a gun that I think is incredibly underrated. It's very affordable, it's a quality gun, and I love the design of it. He's carrying the Beretta APX carry model. He's also showing us his knife here in the picture. I don't know why that wasn't part of the criteria. I guess Albert is a rebel and just does whatever he wants. You know, he is from New Jersey. But this is his carry gun, the Beretta APX carry. All right, next we have Little Birch Mike, who is also from West Virginia. And he's carrying a Ruger LCR, but he's carrying it in 327 Federal. Now, this gun comes in 357 Magnum, but he chose to get it in 327 Federal, which means his name shouldn't be Little Birch Mike. It should be Little Bitch Mike. But still, it's a reasonably good gun, and since he is from West Virginia, I'm going to give him a pass, and once again, assume he's pretty and well endowed, as all West Virginians are. All right, next we have David Tripp from California, and he's got a little blast from the past here, a Taurus PT 945. Now, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and say that he just knows his guns and appreciates good older model guns, especially like the Taurus 945, which I think is very underrated, and not assume it's just because, you know, in California there's not a lot of choices and it was either this or a pointy stick. But like I said, this is a highly underrated gun. I wish that Taurus would make more of these all-metal semi-automatic guns. I think this gun was just a little before its time and therefore got ignored, but it's a quality firearm, and it's David Tripp from California's carry gun, the Taurus PT 945. All right, next we have Moose from Oregon, right across the river from me, and he's carrying a Car CW380. Now, this is an awesome little gun. They're so tiny, and they have one of the best triggers, if not the best trigger you'll ever find on a polymer carry gun. Now, it is odd that a man named Moose is carrying a Car CW380, because that would make me think of a big man, a name like Moose, and that's a tiny gun. However, maybe he's not named after his size. Maybe he's just, you know, named after the moose knuckle that he's usually sporting. So I don't know. Maybe he's a big guy with a tiny gun, or maybe he's a tiny guy with too tight of pants. But either way, he's carrying a Car CW380. All right, next we have David Calderone, and he is from Alaska. That's an awful Italian sounding last name to be in Alaska. And he carries his SIG P229 40 Smith & Wesson. This is an excellent choice of carry guns. One of my favorite SIG Sauers ever made. And I think it's a good idea to carry something like a 40 in Alaska. I would probably maybe go for something in either 10 millimeter or 357, but at least 40 is a little more powerful. And I know a lot of you are thinking, oh, it's because of bears and stuff. No, the bears and stuff in Alaska don't usually bother you. But the women are very large and aggressive. So you want to carry something a little bit more powerful. So this is an awesome choice, a SIG P229 for David in Alaska. All right, finally today we have Joe Westwood, which I am sure that is not his real name. That has got to be a porn name. And he's from Illinois. And he carries a Ruger GP100, Ruger LCP2, and a Canik TP9. I'm assuming he doesn't carry all these at the same time. Or maybe he does. Maybe the porn industry is a dangerous place. But I really like these choices. These are good guns. I don't buy Caniks because they're from Turkey, but I still think that they're a great Walther clone. Now, I do not like the way he's got these lined up here. It's giving me human centipede vibes, or just really gross sexual acts vibes. You know, it's not really that shocking, because kids these days, these millennials, they'll tell you they eat ass. These sick little weirdos. So I'm assuming Joe, like I said, is either in the porn industry or maybe he's just a millennial. So I'm thinking the way he lined these up here just gives us a little glimpse into his personal life. But otherwise, good choices all the way around. Really love that 3-inch Ruger GP100. So great choices from Joe Westwood from Illinois. And that does it for us today. Keep your eyes open for part 2 coming soon.